FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Now, were that not bad enough, there are a number of confounding variables that are going to make the epidemic in the next 25 years look even worse. Kids are now having sex beginning at age 14. Now, admittedly, it's usually oral sex first, but we read in the paper last week, 1/4 of all high school kids, all high school girls, will have a sexually transmitted disease before they finished high school. And if they're black, it's half of them. Now, if they're having sex and they're getting a sexually transmitted disease, they're at risk for getting HIV. Another major problem is that the churches won't touch it. When the AIDS epidemic began and I started what became the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, as Steve told you, we knew exactly what to do. We went to the gay bars and we went to the bathhouses and we gave lectures and we handed out brochures and we talked to people and we had bowls full of condoms at the end of the bars and we said, have a good time but take home a condom. And we educated people where they went to meet people. Well, where would black people go? The churches. And where do Hispanic people go? The Catholic churches. And yet the black ministers, by and large, will not touch this. They won't talk about it because of the shame, the stigma, the fact that it's homosexuality and adultery and IV drug use. And the Catholic Church says you shouldn't use a condom even if you know your partner's positive. So the two places that we could go to reach the people who are at risk are not available to us. And of course, the shame carries on even further. In the black community, men practice what they call on the down low, meaning they have sex with men but they don't tell anybody about it. And in their culture, they have sex with women and often marry and often have children because they don't want to be stigmatized as gay. And if their grandmother wants a baby, they may get their wife or their girlfriend pregnant to produce that baby. Again, without admitting to anyone that they're gay. Now, amongst Caucasians, white men have come out of the closet, but black and Hispanic men have not. The family social pressures are too great. And for that reason, there is greater transmission in those communities. The shame, the stigma of being gay, of being perceived as being one of those people. And there's one final confounding variable that's been added, and that's 2 new drugs. One of them is the erectile dysfunction drug, Viagra and Cialis, and the other, of course, is crystal methamphetamine, crystal meth, speed, Tina. 20 years ago, people were using drugs like alcohol, marijuana, heroin, cocaine to seduce and to have sex. Alcohol's been used for a long time as a pre-foreplay drug, okay? I mean, Dom Perignon didn't invent that just because it bubbled, okay? Alcohol has been a drug that's been part of the sexual life of people for hundreds of years, and other drugs have as well. But on all of the drugs that I named, after you drink a little bit or take a little bit, you doze off, but not crystal meth. With crystal methamphetamine, you can have sex for hour after hour after hour. And when your prowess fails you, you can take a Viagra and go on for another few hours. I have patients who come in who started having sex on Friday night. Sometimes Saturday they take a Viagra, so they continue to have sex, and they have sex until sometime early Sunday morning. At that point they go home and they crash for a few hours, and then they get up and they have to go to work. Well, if you've been up for 70 hours and having sex, a good strong cup of coffee is not going to do it. So what do? You have another little bump of crystal meth to get you through the day. And they do that for a day or two. They may take off Wednesday as sick, crash for 10 hours, but then there's Friday night again. And after a few weeks of that, they're hooked on crystal meth. And that's a huge problem, because not only does it allow them to continue to have sex over and over and over and forget the condom, but of course they're having sex in a way in which their judgment is impaired, and they're doing it in a way where they're going to transmit the disease, or they're going to catch the disease and not know they have it.